She was the blonde bombshell who took Britain by storm, glamorous, daring, and unapologetic. But behind the fame, Diana Dors' life was filled with scandal, heartbreak, and resilience. From the glitzy heights of Hollywood to the shadowy rumors that followed her, this is the untold story of a woman who defied expectations and lived life on her own terms. Stick around as we dive into the glamorous, tragic, and ultimately inspiring legacy of Diana Dors. Diana Dors' journey to stardom began with a precocious determination to become a film star, a dream she had nurtured from an early age. Born as Diana Mary Fluck in 1931 in Swindon, England, her upbringing was humble, but her ambitions were anything but. Her natural flair for performance was apparent from a young age, and at just 14, she was accepted into the prestigious London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art LAMDA, becoming the youngest student in her class. "I was a dreamer as a child," Diana once said, reflecting on her early life. "I always knew I was going to be a star. It wasn't about if but when." Her confidence and talent quickly caught the attention of the British film industry. At the age of 17, Diana signed a contract with the Rank organization, one of the most powerful film studios in Britain at the time. It was a pivotal moment in her career and a reflection of how quickly she had ascended the ranks of young British actresses. Known for her voluptuous figure, platinum blonde hair, and undeniable charisma, she was soon marketed as Britain's answer to Hollywood bombshells like Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield. "I wasn't trying to be anyone else," Dors once remarked. "They wanted me to be the British Monroe, but I always saw myself as Diana Dors." Her rise to fame was meteoric. While many saw her as just another glamorous blonde, Diana was determined to prove that she was more than a pretty face. In 1956, she starred in 2 films that showcase her range and acting depth: The Blonde Sinner and Yield to the Night. These films were game changers in her career, allowing her to transcend the blonde bombshell stereotype that had often limited her roles. In The Blonde Sinner, Diana played a woman on death row, and the performance earned her critical acclaim. Yield to the Night, where she portrayed a woman facing execution after committing a crime of passion, was similarly praised for its emotional depth. Critics lauded her for her sensitivity and vulnerability, contrasting her glamorous public image. "I think Yield to the Night really made people sit up and notice," Dors said in a later interview. "I knew I had to take control of my career and not just play the blonde temptress. I wanted to show that I could act." Her decision to take on such challenging roles paid off. British film historian Matthew Sweet once noted, "Diana was more than just a sex symbol. She had the range and emotional depth that could rival the best of Hollywood." These films showed she had real substance, which is something that gets overlooked because of her image. Diana's versatility helped her avoid being typecast, and she enjoyed a level of critical and commercial success that many of her contemporaries could only dream of. Her fame reached international levels, and she became a symbol of 1950s British cinema. Despite her glamorous image, Diana always emphasized that her persona was only a part of who she was. "I could be the girl next door or the femme fatale. It's all a role," she famously said. "But at the end of the day, I'm just Diana." This period of her life was a high point in her career, where she balanced the allure of a screen siren with the respect of an actress with serious talent. The mix of glamour and grit she brought to her roles made her a unique figure in British cinema, admired not just for her beauty, but for her ability to push the boundaries of what was expected of actresses at the time. By the late 1950s, Diana Dors had cemented her status as one of Britain's most sought-after actresses. She had successfully navigated a film industry eager to pigeonhole her, proving she was capable of more than just looking the part of the blonde bombshell. Her story became one of defying expectations and continually reinventing herself. Her reflection on this period of her life encapsulated her drive. "I always knew I had to work harder than most to prove I was more than just a face or a body. I wanted to be remembered as someone who brought something real to the screen." Diana Dors achieved just that, creating a legacy as one of the most iconic and multifaceted actresses in British film history. While Diana Dors' career flourished in the 1950s, her personal life was a whirlwind of chaos. marked by tragedy and scandal. Behind the glitz and glamour of her film roles and public image, Diana endured a series of turbulent relationships and financial woes that would haunt her for much of her life. Dors' first marriage to Dennis Hamilton in 1951 was perhaps the most significant turning point in her personal struggles. Hamilton, who doubled as her manager, was notorious for exploiting her fame and financial success. He introduced her to a hedonistic lifestyle that involved lavish parties, excessive spending, and an undercurrent of scandalous behavior. The couple's infamous parties became the stuff of legend, with whispers of wild orgies, drug use, and even secret recordings made of high-profile guests engaging in illicit activities. While these rumors were never fully substantiated, they contributed to the increasingly scandalous aura that surrounded her. Dennis had a tremendous influence on her life, said friend and fellow actress Shirley Eaton. He pushed her into situations that, I think, she never fully recovered from. Hamilton's death in 1959 left Diana financially devastated. His mismanagement had drained much of her wealth, leaving her to pick up the pieces. In the aftermath, Dors continued to work, but her personal life remained fraught with difficulties. She would marry 2 more times, first to comedian Richard Dawson, whom she divorced after a few years, and later to actor Alan Lake, with whom she had her most enduring but equally turbulent relationship. Lake, a promising actor himself, struggled with alcoholism and severe mental health issues. His mood swings and destructive behavior created a strain on their marriage, and while the couple was known to be deeply in love, it was clear that their relationship was far from stable. Despite the challenges, Diana and Alan remained together until her death in 1984. The tragedy did not end there. Just months after Dors' passing, Lake committed suicide, leaving behind a note professing his undying love for her. The emotional weight of Diana's illness and death had been too much for him to bear. Alan loved Diana more than life itself, remarked close friend Johnny Briggs, but his demons and the toll of losing her were too much for him. Beyond her personal relationships, Diana's life continued to be mired in scandal, particularly regarding her supposed involvement with Britain's criminal underworld. Rumors swirled for years about her connections to notorious criminals, with some tabloids claiming that she was mixed up in blackmail and illicit dealings. The most enduring and damaging rumor, however, involved the alleged existence of secret sex tapes recorded at her famous parties. Although no concrete evidence of these tapes ever surfaced, the mere suggestion tarnished her reputation in the later years of her career. The British tabloids relished in every scandalous detail of Diana's life. Her glamorous image became intertwined with these darker stories, overshadowing her talent and achievements as an actress. Film critic David Thompson once commented, "Diana was a woman ahead of her time. She lived life unapologetically, but the world wasn't ready for it. In many ways, she became a victim of her own boldness." Despite the scandals, Diana Dors never shied away from who she was. She remained unapologetic about her choices and refused to let the rumors and gossip diminish her spirit. As she once famously said, "You can be as wild and outrageous as you want, as long as you don't hurt anyone. I've lived my life that way, and I wouldn't change a thing." Diana's life was a complex and layered tale of fame, fortune, love, and loss. While her career is celebrated, it's her personal trials and resilience that have cemented her as one of Britain's most iconic and misunderstood stars. Diana Dors' career, much like her personal life, was a story of peaks and valleys. During the 1950s, she reigned as one of Britain's most celebrated film stars, captivating audiences with her glamorous looks and undeniable acting talent. However, by the 1960s, the film roles that had once made her a household name began to dwindle, and Dors faced a stark reality. The public's infatuation with blonde bombshells was waning, and Hollywood wasn't as eager to embrace her as she had hoped. This decline in major film opportunities led Diana to pivot her career toward television and theater, where she continued to find success. In the 1960s and 1970s, she became a fixture on British television, with memorable roles in popular variety shows and comedies. Dors showcased her versatility as an actress, shedding her earlier image as a sex symbol and embracing roles that reflected her maturity and wit. Shows like Queenie's Castle and The Two Ronnies allowed her to connect with a new generation of fans. Diana was always more than just a pretty face, remarked British television producer Bill Cotton. She had this incredible ability to reinvent herself and stay relevant, even as the industry around her changed. Despite her ability to adapt, financial struggles continued to plague Dors throughout her later career. Her fortune, once considerable, had been eroded by a combination of poor financial management, tax issues, and failed business ventures. Diana was open about her monetary difficulties, often speaking candidly about how fame didn't always equate to financial security. She once said, "You can be a star, but that doesn't mean you're immune to financial problems. If anything, fame can make those problems even bigger." Her financial woes, however, did not dampen her spirit. In her later years, Dors became a popular guest on chat shows, where she openly discussed her life's ups and downs. Her wit, self-awareness, and charm resonated with audiences, and she won back the public's affection through her candid, no-nonsense demeanor. "I've lived a life full of mistakes, but I wouldn't change any of them," she quipped during a television interview. "They've made me who I am." In the 1970s, Diana experienced something of a career resurgence. Though no longer the bombshell she was once known as, she embraced roles that reflected her evolving public persona. In doing so, she cemented her place as a beloved figure in British popular culture. Her return to television and her willingness to poke fun at herself earned her renewed admiration. But just as her career seemed to be finding a new rhythm, health challenges began to take a toll on Diana. In 1982, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, a diagnosis she faced with immense courage. Despite her illness, Dors continued to work, determined to maintain her public profile and keep her spirits high. She continued to give interviews and make public appearances, showing the same resilience that had defined her throughout her life. "I've fought my battles, and I'll fight this one too," Diana remarked in an interview shortly after her diagnosis. "I've always believed in facing life head-on, and I'm not going to stop now." Diana Dors passed away in 1984 at the age of 52. Her death marked the end of an extraordinary career and a life filled with both triumph and tragedy. While her final years were marred by financial and health struggles, her legacy as a trailblazing actress who defied the odds remains intact. Film historian Andrew Roberts summed up her career, stating, "Diana Dors was more than just the UK's answer to Marilyn Monroe. She was an icon in her own right, someone who navigated the pitfalls of fame with grace, humor, and remarkable tenacity." Diana's ability to continually reinvent herself, even in the face of adversity, has ensured that she remains a beloved figure in the annals of British entertainment. In the years since her death, Diana Dors has emerged as a cult figure, an enduring symbol of 1950s British glamour, and a woman whose life story encapsulates both the joys and the challenges of fame. More than just a blonde bombshell, Dors was a complex individual whose career and personal life were shaped by ambition, talent, and a determination to live life on her own terms. Her autobiography, Dors by Diana, offers an unfiltered glimpse into her world, revealing a woman unafraid to share her successes and struggles. As she candidly wrote, "Fame is a powerful drug, but it's a double-edged sword. It gives as much as it takes." Looking back, Diana Dors' life serves as a powerful lesson for future generations, both in the entertainment industry and beyond. Today, she is increasingly recognized as a feminist icon, a woman who defied societal norms, stood tall against adversity, and lived her life unapologetically. Film expert Pamela Church Gibson once remarked, "Diana was never given the credit she deserved during her lifetime. Her talent was often overshadowed by her personal life, but her body of work speaks for itself. She was a true pioneer in an industry that often sought to limit her." Dors' legacy is particularly relevant in today's world, where the public conversation around women, fame, and agency has gained renewed focus. Her story is a reminder of how the pressures of the entertainment industry, particularly on women, can be both relentless and unforgiving. Yet, Dors' response to these pressures was to continually reinvent herself, proving her resilience time and time again. Even when Hollywood didn't fully embrace her, she found new avenues to express her talent, moving to television and theater to remain in the spotlight. Her life also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of exploitation. Her first husband and manager, Dennis Hamilton, played a significant role in pushing her toward a decadent lifestyle, contributing to both her financial and emotional turmoil. But even through these difficulties, Diana's strength showed. "Diana fought back," said David Thompson, a British film critic. "She always found a way to rise above the people and circumstances that tried to bring her down." Beyond her glamorous exterior, Diana's courage in facing personal tragedies, financial ruin, the illness that ultimately claimed her life, and the suicide of her third husband, Alan Lake, made her an even more compelling figure. Her grace in the face of these challenges is a powerful example of resilience. "I've made mistakes, but I wouldn't change a thing," she famously said during a talk show appearance. "The hardest lessons are the ones that make you who you are." Diana's willingness to live unapologetically and authentically in a time when women were often relegated to supporting roles has cemented her place in history. She was not just a victim of the era's exploitative systems, but a woman who made her own path, breaking the mold for what women in the entertainment industry could achieve. In an era before terms like feminism were part of mainstream conversations, Diana was already living its principles. Her legacy continues to influence today's stars who look up to her not just as a symbol of glamour, but as a trailblazer who wasn't afraid to fight for her place in an unforgiving industry. Her story is a powerful reminder that true success lies not only in fame and fortune, but in the ability to overcome life's challenges and emerge stronger. In the end, Diana Dors' journey, from rising starlet to scandal-ridden tabloid figure to beloved television icon, serves as an inspiration to anyone who seeks to redefine their narrative. Her ability to bounce back, time and time again, has left a lasting legacy that will continue to inspire future generations of artists, performers, and those battling the harsh realities of fame. She was, as her close friends and admirers say, the embodiment of resilience and reinvention, qualities that are just as relevant today as they were in her time,